Long ago, in the powerful kingdom of Ziran, where the rivers gleamed under the sun like flowing gold, and the dense forests whispered secrets to the wind, a prophecy was spoken by the great oracle of the land. A child born with a father or mother shall one day sit on the throne. He will rise from dust and rule the land with wisdom. But beware, for his journey shall be filled with trials, and many will seek his downfall. This word sent a shiver through the land. The king at that time, Obadako, was a ruthless ruler, feared by his people. He had seized the throne through betrayal, poisoning his own brother, the rightful king, and blaming it on the royal advisors. When the prophecy reached his ears, his heart turned to stone. "No orphan shall ever live to take my throne," he roared. That very night he decreed, "Any orphan found in Ziran shall be cast out into the wilderness, never to return." And so the rivers of Zion carried whispers of sorrow. Mothers hid their children, and those without families were hunted like wild beasts. But destiny is not so easily stopped. Deep in the forbidden lands of Ogbani Forest, where spirits roamed and only the bravest dared to enter, an old hunter named Baba Jengo lived alone. He was once the king's finest warrior, but after refusing to kill an innocent man, he was exiled. One evening, as he tracked a wounded antelope, he heard the soft cry of a baby. Following the sound, he reached a large baobab tree, its roots twisting like the arms of a giant. Beneath its shade lay a small child, wrapped in faded cloth. His skin glowed like polished ebony, and his eyes, large and fearless, stared back at Baba Jengo. "Who abandoned you here?" the old hunter muttered, but no answer came. The child, untouched by the wild animals of the forest, was a mystery. Perhaps he was left by the gods. Perhaps the spirits protected him. Baba Jengo sighed and picked him up. "From this day you shall be called Jabari, for you are a warrior." Years passed. Jabari grew strong. The forest was his home, and he learned its secrets: how to hunt, how to listen to the wind, how to move without making a sound. But there was something else. He dreamed of a golden palace, of a throne high above the land, and always in the dreams there was a shadowed figure calling to him, "Your destiny awaits." One day, as Jabari ventured into the deeper parts of the forest, he encountered an old woman. Her eyes burned like hot coals, and her skin was wrinkled with age. She was Nana Jari, the last living seer of Ziran. She placed her trembling hand on Jabari's forehead and gasped. You are the one from the prophecy," she whispered. "Your destiny is written in the stars, but the path ahead is filled with darkness." Jabari frowned. "Prophecy? I am only a hunter." The old woman shook her head. "No, child. You are the rightful ruler of Ziran. The blood of kings flows in your veins. But beware, the man who sits on your throne will stop at nothing to see you dead." Jabari's heart pounded. Could this be true? Was he truly meant for something greater? That very night, Jabari climbed the tallest tree and looked beyond the forest. In the distance, he saw the kingdom of Ziran. The land was suffering. The once thriving villages were now dry and lifeless. The fields were barren, and the people, thin and weak, walked like ghosts. Warriors from the neighboring kingdom of Baru loomed at the borders, preparing for war. The kingdom needed a leader. But how could an orphan challenge the might of King Dako? His answer came with the Great Moon Festival, the time when warriors from across the land competed in trials of strength, wisdom, and bravery. The winner would receive anything they desired, even a seat in the king's council. This was his chance. Jabari entered the festival unnoticed among the crowd. The first trial was the test of strength, lifting the great stone of the ancestors. Warriors grunted and struggled, veins bulging, but none could move it. Then Jabari stepped forward. The crowd laughed. "A mere hunter, he will be crushed." But with a deep breath, Jabari summoned all his strength and lifted the stone high above his head. The laughter turned to gasps. The second trial was the test of wisdom, a challenge of riddles posed by the elder council. One by one, warriors failed, but Jabari, who had spent years listening to the spirits of the land, answered them all. The final trial was the test of bravery, facing the king's greatest warrior, Kumba the Unbreakable. A man twice his size, Kumba grinned. "You, a nameless boy from the forest, this will be quick." The drums beat, the fight began. Kumba struck like a thunderstorm, but Jabari was swift as the wind. He dodged, countered, and in a single move sent the mighty warrior crashing to the ground. The crowd erupted. King Dako's face darkened. He saw something in Jabari's eyes, and then he knew.
That night, as Jabari slept, the king's guards came. They bound him in chains and dragged him to the dungeons. You'll never see the light of day, King Dako sneered. Jabari, weak from betrayal, closed his eyes. Was this the end? But fate had other plans. In the dead of night, a voice called to him, "Rise, child of destiny." Nana Jari stood before him. She whispered an ancient chant, and the walls melted away like mist. "Go now, gather your people, the time has come." Swords clashed, arrows rained from the sky. The people, tired of suffering, rose against their oppressors. Jabari fought his way to the palace. There he met King Dako. "You cannot defeat me, boy," the tyrant roared, raising his sword, but Jabari was faster. With one swift move, he disarmed the old king and forced him to his knees. "Ziran belongs to its people now," Jabari declared. The people erupted in cheers. The old king was exiled, and Jabari was crowned the rightful ruler, the orphan who became king. As Jabari sat on the golden throne, he remembered the prophecy. A child born with a father or a mother shall one day sit on the throne. He had been that child. But he was no longer an orphan. He was King Jabari of Ziran, the ruler who rose from dust to destiny. And under his reign, the land flourished once more. The end, or the beginning, for even in the whispers of time, legends never fade, and the story of the orphan boy who became king lives on in the hearts of those who believe that fate cannot be denied.